Hey everyone, it's Jordan. I'm going to tell you about my potential research project. I've pretty much stuck with this research topic all throughout the semester, so I'm going to stick with it for this presentation. I think it would be a really interesting study to see the effects of auditory input on exercise and how it can affect the heart rate, the ratings of perceived exertion, and the enjoyment of exercise. There have been a number of studies done on this research topic, and the general consensus is that it can have a positive effect on exercise, especially in the average individual who exercises. But there has been some gray area on the effect that music can have on heart rate. Some studies suggest that it can have an effect on heart rate at certain points, like during the workout itself, or during the warm-up, the workout itself, or the cool-down. But there's no real conclusive evidence that the heart rate is affected one way or another. So that's one area that would need to be explored further. One really great thing about music during exercise for individuals who aren't highly trained is that it can make the act of exercising a little more enjoyable because it helps them to disassociate themselves from the situation. Music can also be beneficial to very trained athletes if the tempo is at a high enough tempo to aid them in their running cadence, which we did actually happen to see in an elite athlete who used a song that was playing during their race to match his pace with the beat of the music, and it actually led him to a new record. I think it was a world record if I'm not mistaken. But personally, I really like this study because as a runner, I never really use any type of music or auditory input while I run, unless it's on a treadmill, because treadmills are horrible. Because I like to just get lost in the run and not think about anything. So I don't like to hear anything. Cheering is fine, but I don't like to hear any music or anyone really talking to me while I run. But I know people who absolutely cannot exercise without some form of auditory input because they just think exercise is really boring and they need something to take their mind off of doing something that they hate so much. I do think that it would be interesting to have a mixed population in this study, meaning that I'd really like to have a good mixture of athletes and non-athletes to see the differences between the two groups, as well as the differences between female athletes and male athletes, the female athletes and non-athletes, male athletes and male non-athletes, and male non-athletes and female non-athletes. I'd also like to test the participants on a cycle ergometer using submaximal exercise protocol, and I'd use a heart rate monitor to track their heart rate prior to the test, at each stage of the test, and once the test has been completed, as well as use an RPE chart to see how difficult the participant thinks the exercise bout is at each stage of the test. One thing that I do anticipate happening are RPE scores that may not necessarily be true, especially with the athletes, because they don't want to seem like a pansy if they say that it's really difficult at a certain stage. And, the same thing may happen with the non-athletes because they know they aren't as in shape as the athletes, and they don't want to be seen as 1B either. So those are some of the things that I would have to try to avoid as much as possible. But anyway, that's what I would propose doing for a potential research study. So, yeah, all right.